So we're searching for the gold bar again. We're just gonna basically fly through here real quick. And again, I've always been doing the skill counter bonus. That to me seems to make the most sense. But again, if you've got the ad skip, then you can very easily run through this. It's almost pointless. Even though they look like they're better in every way, you can mollywop anybody that you go through. It is so easy. So stupidly easy. It's almost pointless. This is probably the longest I've actually seen a fight even last. Not gonna lie. Even with all those bonuses and all these advantages, this is the longest I've seen one of these fights even last for the search for the gold bar. Like here, I'll do skill damage. Again, my emphasis on skill damage here is because I'm a mage, but I mean, just in general, having a lot of skill damage is basically what enables this to work as well as it does. I could conceivably go like health regen, and then there wouldn't be as much reason not to do that. Like, I just wanted to tank these more, but alright, so pretty much you just need to follow along, and this is going to pretty much show you how to get that 5% discount on your purchases in Legend of Mushrooms. This is all you pretty much need to do is just basically install Legend of Mushroom, and you have to have Aptoid's version of this, and then of course you need to have the AppCoin wallet as well. Again, these are both in the description down below, so you're more than welcome to take a look at these, come and download them. And then once you've actually downloaded them and installed them, then all you gotta do is basically open it up. And the AppCoin's wallet is basically a crypto app in a sense, and it's really all you're gonna do is just go to the rewards tab, go to the promo codes tab, put in the promo code that I've got down in the description, which is Dakanoth LM, and then you'll be able to get your 5% extra bonus on the game, so you can save money playing the game. There's no reason to. And then from here, we can grab our routine logins and get our clues. And we dump these clues in here and grab our loot, which I believe now that we've been playing for as long as we have, we've actually finally hit the limit. So at this point, with only 2 days left, basically you could pay like $1 and get a bunch of stuff, or pay $10 and get a bunch of stuff. If you want my 2 cents, you might as well, and you might chance your luck at the find the culprit and actually get something good. Here, I've mostly gotten gold 90% of the time. I will say that out of all the pieces that are in here, you get this in 487 draws, 350, you get those. There's like some pretty cool items in here, but I will say the Eye of the Raven's one of the cooler items that I've seen, as you can cast an equipped active skill every random 20 seconds, and then you get 10% for the HP. Plus, you can even preview it, so you can kind of see what it does and what it looks like. And as you can tell, it is pretty goddamn cool. You can't go wrong with this. It is pretty badass. For a claw, it's pretty cool. Fun fact, this is a tip for the day, right? If you've been wondering how to match up and fight in arena, I save up mine because I don't really care as much. But let's say, for example, like games therapy, all right? I can practice, and this practice, I kid you not, will work exactly how it will in arena. If you want to know if you're going to beat a guy, win or lose, without actually using up a challenge, you could just practice, and I kid you not, you can get ahead in arena. Now, to some extent, this is RNG based. Like, there is, to some degree of this, it's not like a foolproof method by any means, right? But if you want to go about doing it this way, I highly recommend it, because again, if you're wanting to know whether you're going to win or not in arena, then you can easily go in there, find if you're going to win or fight. Now, the biggest problem is yes, now I got to go back and find it. That is the only issue, is that you got to refresh a bunch of times to go find that guy that you knocked out. Here, I just took a chance on the green, said, it'll work. Sometimes it just doesn't play out that way. That's kind of the unfortunate reality of this game. You don't really get to choose your battles as well as you'd hope. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And like in this case, it's getting close, but I still don't think I'm going to win. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe this game will turn around, but it doesn't look like it to me. And that settles that. But again, you kind of get the idea behind the RNG now. Now you know exactly what I'm doing. Now, again, I'm just going at this brainlessly at this point, just for fun, just to kind of talk, but I kind of get an idea of how to approach it now. If you're wanting to get higher levels in arena, obviously, if you're spending, which if you're saving money, you're doing it the way I suggest you do, which you got to check this out. But of course, now that you've probably seen that for the millionth time, and I'm sure there's probably some of you who've watched my videos, and you're probably now like, oh, for fudge's sake, not this again. Yes, I get it. But all the same, this is kind of how like people are running the arena. So like right now, if I want to know if I can beat Rabs, I can just hit practice here, and we'll give it a go and see how well it plays out. And you should be able to tell within a few minutes of the battle of whether you're going to win or lose. This is not the only way. You can always go in and tab out. You can actually go in here and you can compare and look at what you have for attack, HP, defense. And this kind of gives you an idea of what you're missing in terms of what some players are doing in their strategies for their classes, and so on and so forth. So if you want to better yourself and be a better player, this is a good way to go about doing it. Now, all that aside, hopefully you're having as much fun as I am playing Legend of Mushroom, but so that's pretty much all the tips I have, other than the ad skip being a godsend for a number of reasons. And the biggest one I can think of that comes to mind is for that reason. The other being is, let's say you want to get free draws. You basically get 3 free draws. In a way they're free, but they're not really free, but they're free if you've got the ad skip. And as you can tell, it's just like it's brainless not to do that. Now, like, the biggest thing is I know prayer rush is going on, so we'll go ahead and we'll claim all the rewards. And then one thing you want to probably more than likely do is be dumping into your pal rushes. Now, in my case, I've got a bunch of crit bonuses, but I'm going to just go ahead and randomly pray and let this level and just lose my affixes. And you don't have to do it this way by any means, but the reason I'm doing this is simply so that I can just basically spam and run through it, and it's not as important, right? Because right now I'm not trying to go for any SSS plus affixes, but you can certainly do that if you want to. You just need to have your statue level go up and up and up. The only way you can do that is you've got to go and do a lot of gathering, and you've got to do a lot of crop stealing. You basically need to be doing that on a day-to-day basis every single day, and trying to get the highest quality of that as you can possible. And obviously, to some degree, you're not going to have a lot of control over it, but don't mind the weather, by the way. But this is kind of what you do, and then you just work your way up the ranks, and that's really about all you can do. And again, my advice as far as the auto mining goes is, again, just try to get down in the rankings. And the lower you can get down there, the better the loot. I'm already at like 5,200, and I've been doing this for almost a couple weeks now. And again, it's very much a patience-oriented thing. It's like you can't really rush it. If you want to rush it, you can try, but you might have a hard time doing that. So like here, I'm going to see if maybe I can get lucky. I'm going to see if I can... I'm just going to try and do this here and see if I can nab the freebies as much as the freebies will allow. As many of those freebies as we can possible. And just kind of work our way down the rankings. Of course, with Tech Park in particular, you just basically level this as much as you can and work your way down the ranks. With the Dormitory, again, try to find, like in my case, I just look for lower level friends, and then that's how I've always done it, because I'll run into people that don't have retainers this way and then go at and capture them. So like this guy, I don't know, I may be able to get him, maybe not, clearly not. But you can kind of get an idea of what to do. Obviously, it helps to kind of pay attention to what their rank is, and then who their employers are, because if you're wanting to take them, you have to take them if they don't have an employer. If they have an employer, you have to be better than the employer. But like in that case, easy peasy, and then I can grab the loot. Obviously, the higher quality player, the better quality loot. As far as parking wars goes, again, you basically just park your mount here and get as much loot as you can possible. Occasionally, you've got to deal with players like this who come by and are basically out stealing your stuff. And that happens, but you can give your parking lot a name. I'll call it a Parky lot. I'll just call it Parky. Alright. And then, the rest is kind of history. You can go find a parking lot. So you can actually find other parking lots here. So you can search for your friends and vice versa. And then what you can do is, like for example, I'm going to look for somebody that I think is inactive. Maybe this guy. he doesn't have a fee, so I'm going to go ahead and park and then go find another parking lot and park and rinse repeat. That's kind of the idea, and you just want to try and not get hurt. It's kind of the idea. Now, you do have to pay a fee whenever you go here sometimes, so you don't always get lucky. But that's kind of the idea behind the parking lot. You just don't want to get yourself nabbed, and you want to try and get as much loot out of the parking wars as you can possible. Outside of that, between the dormitory being a pretty big chunk of loot, and you working your ranks through there, and the parking wars, and then, of course, leveling your prayer statue as much as you can. And again, the same reason that I'm doing it, just ranking it up. Now, again, I could stack, and if you want to have best set, typically what you'll do is you'll get 2 skill damage and then the rest global attack damage for prayer statue is what a lot of people are doing. But how you decide to go about doing your prayer statue is really entirely up to you. I'm not going to tell you, because it ultimately comes down to builds. A lot of different builds are going to need different things. I think there's lots of opportunity for players to play around and strategize however they wish. Of course, for a heroic trial, this is really relatively straightforward. You don't have to do a whole lot for this, but again, just trying to rank through it and clear as much of the heroic trial as you can possible is going to give you the best possible loot, and obviously that's going to work out for you. But again, I don't know. I can't really give you much more advice than what I know so far, but hopefully these tips have been helpful for you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Consider subscribing if you like Legend of Mushroom, and I'll see you guys next time.